Hey, what's up? Yen here, and this is my video for the ikko OH300 Lumina. It is a single dynamic driver IEM, and the retail price for this is $50 US. It's available on ikko's website, so if you guys are interested to find out more, do head over to ikkoaudio.com. Now, in this video, I'm going to go through the accessories, design, build quality, fit and comfort, my sound impression, and I'll give it a star rating about an IEM. So for this OH300, let's begin first with the specifications, which is at the back of this box. The material of this IEM is made of CNC. Okay, so I'm not too sure why CNC, but anyway, it's CNC. At the same time, it's got this photochromatic glass at the faceplate here. So basically, you can actually see that if it's under the sun or something like that, it will change color. Okay, and then the interface is a 10mm composite liquid crystal diaphragm, well, CLC. Okay, CLC. Sensitivity is 107, impedance is 32 ohms, and the frequency range is 20 to 20,000 hertz. And the cable is made of oxygen-free copper OFC cable. Right, I think it's a 4-core cable, and there's a graph that they show here. So I'll show you my graph. I think the scaling of the graph is a little bit off. As you can see, it shows that it trails off at this point here. I'm not too sure, it's so small I can't even see, but I'll show you my graph. Okay, now inside the box you'll find paperwork, ear tips, and the cable. Now ear tips, you got two types. One is the narrow bore and one is the wide bore. So I've been using the narrow bore. Wide bore is a little bit too transparent for me, so I want a little bit of thickness to my music. So yeah, the narrow bore works fine for me. And then the cable is a 4-core cable, as you can see, 4 cores, right? And it's got an angled 3.5 headphone jack with a Velcro strap right here, and it's got chin slider. Sorry, no chin slider, it's just a Y splitter. And then the ear hooks are a little bit too soft, and also the shape of it is a little bit angled, a little bit too angled for me, but it's because it's soft, so it does actually fit my ear quite well, so it's alright. Alright, so let's talk about the IEM itself. IEM is light, right? I feel that it's light. I mean, it's $50. Okay, faceplate is nice. You can see this circuitry here, which is actually the crossover. Okay, and yeah, it's actually quite nice to me. So far, I've not seen any IEM with a see-through window of their crossovers, so this is pretty unique. Now, the inner shell, they say is like CNC, but I'm not too sure what kind of CNC. But I mean, I can feel that it's machine made. It's not handmade. It's not molded from hand. And you can see that there's a fin here. The nozzle is made of metal and it's inserted into the shell itself, and it's got a perforated filter. Okay, so overall the design of the IEM is pretty nice, and I like the faceplate. Okay, now in terms of fit and comfort, I find that it's very comfortable in my ear. This IEM is actually quite thick, alright, and it goes into my ear, and the ergonomics of it is actually pretty good. So yeah, fits my ear very well, no pain, and no discomfort at all. Now in terms of seal, right, it gives me a very good seal as well. Okay, and with the stock tips, right, this is with the stock tips. When I was using my own Final ear tips, that gave me a better seal as well. So yeah, in fact, this no problem in terms of fit and comfort and seal. Okay, right, so now let's talk about sound. Let me clear my table and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back, and first let's talk about drivability, and these are okay to drive. So I've used it with my iPhone, iPad, and all my dongles and dabs. So the comfortable listening level for me is about 50%. Okay, so well, I would say if you were to give it more power, it's definitely opens up the sound more. But with normal gear, right, normal dongles and DACs, Apple dongle, for example, yeah, you can actually drive these pretty easily at 50% volume. Okay, now in terms of gear matching, I would recommend gears that are quite neutral or natural sounding. So for dabs, I would recommend the M15S. Okay, M15S is pretty good for it. And as for dongles, I would recommend the M15. Okay, so this is the Questal. So pretty natural sounding IEM. Okay, and the note weight and the tone on this is actually pretty natural as well. It's a little bit colored, and it's got some lightness to the treble as well. So overall, I would say it's a fun and probably casual sounding. At the same time, it sounds bright, right? So it's like a bright, casual sounding IEM. Okay. Now in terms of technicalities, I would say these are okay. They perform pretty well for $50. The overall soundstage is quite transparent, quite wide as well. Good height. The layers are okay, and the sound separation and the imaging is quite noticeable, so I can actually identify where the instruments are, no problems with that. At the same time, the instruments are well separated in the soundstage itself. Orchestras wise, I would say that yes, the instruments are all well laid out and separated. In terms of detail retrieval, I would say it's alright. Performer is not the best detail retrieval. I mean, due to the tuning, this one has got quite a bit of detail. I would say it's above average in terms of detail retrieval, because the treble here is actually quite bright. Bass is heavy though, and it does veil most of the details, but the treble does make up to it lah. But the thing is, this is a single dynamic driver, so yeah, not much you can do with a single dynamic driver with this kind of tuning. Now in terms of resolution, is pretty good, right? For the overall resolving capability of this IEM, is very good. No distortion or anything like that. Even when the volume is cranked up or with some busier tracks, it still sounds crystal clear. Okay, right. So now let's talk about sound signature. Let me bring up my graph. Alright, so this is the sound signature of the OH300, and it's a very typical V shape. So it's very bass heavy, alright, so your mid bass and your sub bass is very elevated. I would say it's kind of a bit bassy IEM, okay, and also it's a bright IEM. No, well, not very bright, not very present, but it's got a very edgy and spicy treble. Okay, now let's talk about the sub bass first. Sub bass is, as I mentioned, very rumbly and very heavy as well, prominent as well. So rumble is actually very good, and it's not really rolled off. I would feel that the rumble is quite extended, okay, and it's got good texture as well. And as I mentioned, this is a fun type of IEM. So bass weight is very heavy and it's textured, and I would say very engaging type of sub bass. In terms of mid bass, let me just zoom this in a little bit. Now in terms of mid bass, is very punchy. Now this type of bass, right, gives you a very thick bottom end. So when I'm listening to all my tracks, most of the time my track will sound very thick and very textured. So this is what the IEM gives me, right? It gives me a very thick and very textured and very warm sound, okay, and very engaging. It's very fun and casual sounding, okay. So that's why the bass is good, right? For the lower mids is actually okay. I mean, it's recessed, it's veiled. So what I hear is that most of my pianos, they sound very bass heavy. Violins as well. So in terms of the overall tonal balance is warm lah. I wouldn't say it's off balance, but I say it would be a warm balance. So not a very detailed, and that's why the details are not really a detailed IEM. It's more of a veiled and recessed, and the instruments are well laid back, okay. Now in terms of vocals, male vocals and female vocals, they both sound great on this. Now male vocals, they have got that thickness there, that low end, and overall male vocal sounds very nice on this, very engaging and also very authoritative. Now in terms of female vocals, also very engaging, because it's very energetic female vocals and also very spicy. So for those of you who likes that intense female vocals, then this is actually a very good tuning for it, because of the treble here. But overall, yeah, female vocals, they sound textured, at the same time fun, and also bright and energetic. Okay, now in terms of the treble, now treble is as I say, the gain to the treble is a little bit spicy and a little bit hot as well. So this one would give just a bit. All right, I'm not saying it's a lot. If you look at this perk up here, it's just a little bit above the Harman curve. So when I listen to this, the energy is there to a point whereby it's quite intense, especially for female vocals and electric guitars. But it's not by a lot lah. So is noticeable, right? My ears can notice it. So when I listen to the treble, it's a little bit on the edgy side. Okay, now in terms of the presence of the treble, is not really a bright IEM as well. Okay, so it actually slopes down when it comes to about the 5K region, and that's where it makes this treble a little bit dark. Okay, I mean, it's not very dark as well, but it's dark enough to notice to make the bass a bit more prominent and the treble a little bit less prominent. Alright, now in terms of the mid treble, okay, so this is actually not as peaky, but I do hear some sibilance on this treble. It does come to a point whereby it gets a little bit sharp on certain tracks, okay, but it's just a little bit, okay. And for air, it does roll off quite naturally. So cymbal strikes and the hi-hats, they have a natural roll off. The extension of that is and the decay of the treble is actually quite natural. Okay, so that's the overall sound signature of this ikko OH10. Now I would say this is actually more of a fun and casual IEM, and is suitable for mostly pop songs, female singers, male singers as well, rock songs, R&B, and most of the mainstream music, okay, because it's quite a typical V-shaped tuned IEM. Not really suitable for classical, right? Orchestras, instruments, yeah, so these are not really suitable for this. But yeah, overall I think this is a very good performer for $50. Price to performance wise, yeah, it's pretty good. Now in terms of my star rating, I'll give this ikko OH300 a 3 star out of 5 star. Okay, so this is a 3-star IEM based on what I hear. Okay, that's it for now for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.